Yo, what's up? What's up, YouTube? You're gonna have to bear with me 1 sec. All right. What's up? What's up, Facebook? Hello again, YouTube. Uh, Without further ado, my name is Michael Music, and I am currently 22 years old. Graduated from Penn State with a mechanical engineering degree. I absolutely ditched the degree and decided that I wanted to be a professional salesman as well as a visionary. And I came across this book called Think and Grow Rich while I was on my journey. And I don't know, something about it resonated with me. And I was like, well, I've heard many stories that this book has helped develop lots of millionaires. But so for context, I started reading it when I was 19. And 3 years later, I didn't truly understand it. Like, I felt like there was a lot to grasp in this book. And I realized one of the things was, oh, you can't read this book a single time and expect to truly get it. This is a book that is essentially like a self analysis type of situation where at different phases of your life, the book will hit differently for you. And that's kind of the situation we are in here. Now, what we've been doing this past week was we were reading over organized planning and diving deep into the 10 major attributes of leadership and the 10 major causes of failure in leadership. Now, what we're going to talk about today is the 10 or the 30 major causes of failure. This isn't anything. So, this is kind of like a self analysis type of video as well. And we're going to get right into it because 30 major causes of failure, that's a lot. And the question is like, how many of these are holding you back? So really, the intent going into this video is just to think to yourself, like, okay, is any of this holding me back from where I want to be? And we're basically just gonna read it out loud, talk about it there. Now, I'll start off with the intro. Napoleon Hill says that life's greatest tragedy consists of men and women who earnestly try and fail. The tragedy lies in the overwhelmingly large majority of people who fail as compared to the few who succeed. I have had the privilege of analyzing several thousand men and women, 98% of whom were classified as failures. There's something radically wrong with a civilization and the system of education which permit 98% of the people to go through life as failures. But I did not write this book for the purpose of moralizing on the rights and wrongs of the world. That would require a book 100 times the size of this one. Now, he says, my analysis work proved that there are 30 major reasons for failure. 30 major reasons for failure and 13 major principles through which people accumulate fortunes. So think about that. We're talking about 13 principles to succeed, 30 major causes to fail. It's actually, the numbers are fairly staggering. It's interesting. In this chapter, a description of the 30 major causes of failure will be given. As you go over the list, check yourself by it point by point for the purpose of discovering how many of these causes of failure stand between you and success. Alrighty, we're going to dive right into it. But I think that's really interesting point that there's 30 major causes of failure, which is far outweighing the principles you need to follow to succeed. Now, why is that? Why is that? It's a good question, actually. It's a question I want to kind of leave up in the air for you to think about. Anyways, We're going to dive into the 30 major causes right now. Starting with number 1, he says unfavorable hereditary background. There's but little, if anything, which can be done for people who are born with a deficiency in brain power. This philosophy offers but one method of bridging this weakness through the aid of the mastermind. Observe with profit, however, that this is the only one of the 30 causes of failure which may not be easily corrected by any individual. Okay, so if there's something wrong with your brain, most of us will not have this situation, but there may be a few of you who watch this with time that do, and it's a shame. This is definitely the hardest one to overcome, but it's not impossible, he said. And that's what you want to hang on to. It's about you can form a mastermind and bounce off the knowledge and expertise of others and still make use of this philosophy, even if you have a brain defect or unfortunate deficiency in the brain. Okay, number 2. This is a big one. Lack of a well-defined purpose in life. Damn. Do you have a well-defined purpose? And what does he mean by well-defined? He says there is no hope of success for the person who does not have a central purpose or definite goal at which to aim. 98 out of every 100 of those whom I have analyzed had no such aim. Sheesh. So 98 out of 100. So the question is, do you have a purpose? What is it that you want? And have you well defined that purpose? Now, what does he mean by well defined? Well, that's a great question. It really is up to your standard of well defined. Uh, hey, this is just a suggestion. I'm not saying I've done this yet, but maybe well defined could mean 1,000-word story about your purpose in life, right? I feel like that's a fair number to say that's well defined. And it's all relative. It's all relative. It's all about what you would consider well defined. But do you have a purpose? Do you know what you want? And did you define it? Did I define my purpose? That's that's deep. Okay. Number 3, lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity. We offer no hope for the person who is so indifferent as not to want to get ahead in life and who is not willing to pay the price. So are you able and willing to go above and beyond the mediocrity? What does mediocrity mean? It's the medium, the crowd, the masses. Are you looking to step up above them? Number 4, insufficient education. This is a handicap which may be overcome with comparative ease. Experience has proven that the best educated people are often those known as self-made or self-educated. It takes more than a college degree to make one a person of education. Any person who is educated is one who has learned to get whatever he wants in life without violating the rights of others. Let me finish and then I'll get back to this. Education consists not so much of knowledge, but of knowledge effectively and persistently applied. Men are paid not merely for what they know, but more particularly for what they do with that which they know. This is a big mic drop. All right, let's dive into this. He says, experience has proven the best educated people are often self-educated. They're self-made. What does that mean? Right? It means, are you willing to go out, buy the books, buy the programs that you need, find the mentorship that you need to get to where you want to be? Right? I'm not saying you got to read every book out there, but I am saying you got to find the resources to help you get to your definite major purpose. Because this all ties back to the second thing, the lack of a well-defined purpose. If you don't have that, then all the books out there, do they even matter? Now, secondly, I want to address this. He says this is his definition of an educated person. It's not someone with a college degree. No one cares that I went to college, got a degree there. Like, that doesn't truly matter, right? It doesn't tell me that I'm worth the riches that I want. But he says this: any person who is educated is one who has learned to get whatever he wants in life without violating the rights of others. Any person who is educated is one who has learned to get whatever he wants in life without violating the rights of others. So let's say, are you educated in this definition? The answer for me at least is no, not yet. But until I've learned to get whatever I want in life without violating the rights of others. That's deep, right? Is it like some people wouldn't even consider that possible? Is it possible to get everything that you want out of life without violating the rights of others? And other people, on the other hand, like Napoleon Hill, would say, yeah, it's not only possible, but that's what makes an educated man. So that is a big difference. Okay, 5. We're talking about 30 major causes of failure. Number 5 is lack of self-discipline. Napoleon Hill says discipline comes through self-control. This means that one must control all negative qualities. Before you can control conditions, you must first control yourself. Self-mastery is the hardest job you will ever tackle. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. You may not see at one you may not see at one and the same time both your best friend and your greatest enemy by stepping in front of a mirror. Okay, do you have self-discipline? And what does that mean, self-discipline? It means you have control over all negative qualities. He says before you can control conditions, you must first control yourself. And this is the hardest job you will ever tackle. Super true. What is it? My mentor actually recommends this book. It's called Mental Toughness. And I'm reading it right now, and it's interesting. So I can't actually talk too much about that, but just based off of what he told me, I definitely recommend that. And then furthermore, a great book that I have read, it's this book. I used to read all these books by the Navy SEALs guys. So I used to love like their self-discipline and their mindset. And this one book was by this guy named Joe Flacco, and it was called Discipline Equals Freedom. And he dove deep into just his mindset, being a Navy SEAL, having the discipline. And it's interesting because I notice as I implement, more disciplined habits time after time, it's not all at once, but as I implement these habits, I notice I get an extra degree of freedom in my day each time. And it's really interesting. So I want you to just remember 3 words, like 3 powerful words to leave you this video off with, is that discipline equals freedom. And take those words, play around with it, and see how that impacts your life. Okay, number 6, I'm talking 30 major causes of failure: ill health. No person may enjoy outstanding success without good health. Many of the causes of ill health are subject to mastery and control. These in the main are: A, overeating of foods not conducive to health; B, wrong habits of thought given expression to negatives; C, wrong use of and overindulgence in sex; D, lack of proper physical exercise; E, an inadequate supply of fresh air due to improper breathing. Okay, so these are ill health. Let's keep going. Number 7, unfavorable environmental influences during childhood. As the twig is bent, so shall the tree grow. Most people who have criminal tendencies acquire them as a result of bad environment and improper associates during childhood. Okay, yeah. So how you were raised as a child has a big influence on how much you're going to succeed or fail. And it's interesting. I remember there was this big debate whether it was environment or heredity, like genetics. And I think there's some studies out there that's saying it's actually environment that is more important to the development of your personality. And Napoleon Hill is kind of just saying like, hey man, as the twig is bent, the tree will grow. And we're gonna leave it at that pretty much. But yeah, there is ways I think um, to fix. Let's say you did have a bad upbringing and whatnot. There is ways to fix it, but it's going to take a little bit of unwiring and rewiring of your brain. So whether that statement makes sense or not, we're not going to dive too deep into it, and we're going to continue on with number 8. This one's a big one. Okay, get ready. He says procrastination. This is one of the most common causes of failure. Old man procrastination stands within the shadow of every human being waiting his opportunity to spoil one's chances of success. Most of us go through life as failures because we are waiting for the time to be right to start doing something worthwhile. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along. Wow. Okay, so procrastination, he's saying do not wait for the time to be right. The time will never be just right. Now the question is, what are you waiting on to get started? What journey are you waiting on to get started? What goal do you got out there that you've been waiting on? What goal do I got out there that I have been waiting on? And am I waiting for the perfect time, or am I willing to create the perfect time? So I will be the first to admit procrastination. Uh, I'm not an expert in that, but it's interesting when you give yourself an analysis. It's like, okay, so how did I fare with procrastination going back to the first time I read this, and where am I at now? Number 9, lack of persistence. Hill says most of us are good starters, but for poor finishers of everything we begin. Moreover, people are prone to give up at the first sign of defeat. There's no substitute for persistence. The person who makes persistence his watchword discovers that old man failure finally becomes tired and makes his departure. Failure cannot cope with persistence. Wow. So do I start things, but like I kind of got that down, but the question is, can I finish them? Do I finish them? Is it a part of my personality that everything I get started in, I finish? Definitely have some loose ends to tie there. So I'm noticing I definitely got a few of these causes are part of, where I'm at in life at this moment. So the question now becomes like, what am I going to do about that? Okay, number 10, negative personality. There is no hope of success for the person who repels people through a negative personality. Success comes through the application of power, and power is attained through the cooperative efforts of other people. A negative personality will not induce cooperation. All right, so what's your personality like, and what can you do to improve it? Number 11, lack of controlled sexual urge. Hill says sex energy is the most powerful of all the stimuli which move people into action. Because it is the most powerful of all the emotions, it must be controlled through transmutation and converted into other channels. Damn, so what does that mean? Okay, so a good question is like, are you given into, these sex urges? Are they controlling you, or are you controlling them? And why does he say it must be controlled through transmutation? and convert it into other channels. What the heck does that mean? How can you convert, this like sex urge into other things like creativity? So that is a chapter we're actually going to dive into. It's called The Mystery of Sex Transmutation, and we're going to talk about that. Number 12, uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. The gambling instinct drives millions of people to failure. Evidence may be found in a study of the Wall Street crash of 1929, during which millions of people tried to make money by gambling on stock margins. Okay, so how well on a scale of 1 to 10 are you controlling your desire of something for nothing? Number 13. Oof. This one's going to hurt. Lack of a well-defined power of decision. Men who succeed reach decisions promptly and change them, if at all, very slowly. Men who fail reach decisions, if at all, very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. Indecision and procrastination are twin brothers. Where one is found, the other may usually be found also. Kill off this pair before they completely hogtie you to the treadmill of failure. Whoa. Okay. I need to talk about this. This is possibly one of the biggest lines in the book. It will come up again in the chapter on decision, but it's repeated here. I'm going to repeat it for you. Men who succeed reach decisions promptly and change them, if at all, very slowly. Men who fail reach decisions, if at all, very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. Damn. Okay. So where are you at in making a decision? Do you know how to make decisions for yourself? Do I know how to stick to a decision? Am I willing to stick to the decisions I made? Damn, that hurt. But guess what? It's the truth. At the end of the day, this is to help free us. So take it for what it is. The truth's the truth. It is what it is. Let's be grateful that we're at least acknowledging it. Okay, let me see where we're at in time. Okay, I'm gonna end off after number 14, and we'll continue on tomorrow. 14 is one or more of the 6 basic fears. These fears have been analyzed for you in a later chapter. They must be mastered before you can market your services efficiently. All right, so we're going to definitely talk about the fears. Now, we're coming up on time. Let me finish out. I'm going to finish 5 more pages. We'll see how many steps we get, and then we'll just continue on with the steps next time so we're not like cramped for time. Okay, 15, 30 major causes of failure. Wrong selection of mate in marriage. This is the most common cause of failure. The relationship of marriage brings people intimately into contact. Understand this relationship is harmonious. Failure is likely to follow. Oh no, he says, unless this relationship is harmonious, failure is likely to follow. Moreover, it will be a form of failure that is marked by misery and unhappiness during all signs of ambition. Okay, he's saying a big part of failure, if you don't choose your spouse or your wife right, they're basically gonna become a part of your life. So, especially for anyone young watching this, that's I don't know who I'm gonna have watch this one day, but right now I'm 22. It's like, okay, can I be aware of, okay, who am I getting married to? What am I going to make sure of before like I commit to this? And how do you know if the relationship is harmonious? How do you like? What are some signals that you can check out for? So, uh, hey, Napoleon Hill said it, not me. Unless this relationship is harmonious, you may failure is likely to follow, and it is a form of failure. This is painful. That is marked by misery and unhappiness, destroying all signs of ambition. So choose carefully is the last two words I will say. 16. Overcaution. The person who takes no chances generally has to take whatever is left when others are through choosing. Overcaution is as bad as undercaution. Both are extremes to be guarded against. Life itself is filled with the element of chance. All right. We live in times right now, everything's changing. And if you are overcautious, even I noticed like me being overcautious with certain things in a matter of 3 years, I was already well behind the curve. Like, let's talk about how fast the world is changing, and if you're not willing to step out, take some risk, and whatnot, like it's going to change so fast that you're going to get left in the dust. Um, Very interesting stuff. So what do you think about overcaution? Have you been overcautious, and what is something that you can do to actually start get the ball rolling? Like is your ball stuck? So that's a few thoughts I'm having. All right, number 17. Wrong selection of associates in business. This is one of the most common causes of failure in business. In marketing personal services, one should use great care to select an employer who will be an inspiration and who is himself intelligent and successful. We emulate those with whom we associate most closely. Pick an employer who is worth emulating. Damn. Okay, so not everyone is necessarily here yet, but what's cool about this book is you can always come back to it. So I haven't chosen anyone to dive head over heels into business with. I do have a mentor who, you know, I stick with, but be careful also, not only in marriage, but who you choose to partner up with in business. Okay, we're gonna end this here. Finally, number 18 for the day. Superstition and prejudice. Superstition is a form of fear. It is also a sign of ignorance. Men who succeed keep open minds and are afraid of nothing. All right. Superstition, prejudice. Is that one of the causes of failure holding you back? Do you judge everyone the moment you see them? Do you label them? And how can that relate to the cause of failure, right? Why is that one of the big cause of failure? So these are some questions to ask yourself. Definitely interesting to think, okay, I thought I was on a much better roll than I was, or when I was reading this book the first time. But the thing about these self-analysis questions is like, oh sheesh, I am still lacking in this area and that area. And it's okay if you are, but it's not okay if you're going to stay that way. It's okay if you acknowledge, like, okay, I definitely am experiencing this cause of failure and this cause of failure, but here's what I'm going to do about it. So the question then becomes, what am I going to do about it? Feel me? All right. Well, that is that. We're at 12:30. I want to say thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate you watching this one. This one's a hard one because we're diving into questions about ourselves here. So I'll leave you with this until we meet again in time and space. Peace out, Facebook, and I'll see you too, YouTube. Bye for now.